Are you ready to live boldly, full out, and on your terms? It's time to wake up, overcome your fears, and embrace uncertainty. Access your power and claim your dreams. It's time for Tuck Talk with Tuck Self, the Rebel Belle. Join us now for inspiring conversation and bold self-expression for living life full out and on your terms. Now here is your host for today's podcast, the Rebelicious Tuck Self.
You look at this drawing, this visual, from a micro perspective and a macro perspective. There you are. Nan so generously said, "Oh, look, Tuck, there you are in the center of the circle." My mother used to tell me that I was not the center of the universe, and I, now beg to differ, because I am. We are all the centers of our own universe. So you can look at the visual that way and say, okay, there I am, little me in the center of the universe, and everything is flowing to me and through me. And hopefully I'm going to show you where in your matrix the issues get stuck that disallow the resources from your soul and from your higher guides, keeps them from coming into your world and bringing to you what your heart desires. The other way you can look at this is just saying, wow, this is like a cell, just one cell of many cells in my body. So what happens in one cell is happening in every cell, and what's really happening in the inside of my body is what shows up and is reflected externally for me as my reality and my experience. So taking a look at the graphic, there you are, center of your world. There's a line, if you all see it, the first circle that circles you in the center of your own little universe. If you want to, take a pencil and draw and darken that circle. That circle represents the energetic boundary that you came in with fully intact and in place. Think of that as your energetic boundary. All kids come in unconditionally loving, fully in their energetic flow. They're happy, they're sad, they're angry. They don't judge whether they're happy, they're sad, or angry like I do. It just is what it is. Then something comes along and it interrupts that emotional flow. The child has an experience or a circumstance that happens that just kind of catches them off guard. They don't understand it. And what it does, it stops that energetic flow. We can say it upsets the kid, it frightens the child. We can say maybe even they're traumatized. But at that point in time, that little child makes something up. They create a thought. They create a thought form. And most times that thought form is rooted in fear, because what just happened was outside of the understanding of that child. It scares them. It frightens them. So they create a thought form that is rooted in fear. It's an emotional fear that's almost rooted in a matter of life and death, because children don't know any better sometimes. In neuroscientific terms, you can say that an emotional pathway is created in the brain. A neural net is created in the brain. And that neural net actually has a chemical and an emotional component to it, because every thought has an emotional component to it. So suddenly that child now has an emotion, a thought form and emotion that is of something less than love. It's something maybe traumatic. It carries fear. It carries whatever that thing is that's less than love. The child does that and makes that up because the mind thinks that it's protecting you. It believes in thinking this thought and reacting this way that it's protecting you. Here's what I want you to visually see that it does. On that line that you circled, that you drew around you, that created your energetic boundary, draw a circle. And what the circle is going to represent is a hole in your energetic boundary. You're going to draw a little circle on the boundary, almost like a hole in the boundary. Think about you with an energetic field.
So where do we put the circle?
you just pick wherever you want to on that energetic boundary. Because by the time you get through, Nan, that boundary probably looks like Swiss cheese, because you have all of these holes in your energy field that were opened up because something happened where you had an emotional reaction and you were traumatized, and you suddenly began to lose power and energy from inside that energetic boundary. You begin to lose energetic power and energy to that event and that experience. You begin to lose power and energy to what we're going to call the matrix. You know, hey, don't you feel like you leak energy sometimes when you fret and stay anxious about something? I mean, we feel drained, right? It's going out through these little holes in your energetic boundary.
Can these holes be repaired or sealed?
Oh, yes. Yes, they can. That's what we're going to talk about. That's the good news. That's the C for celebration. On the outside of this circle, on the very outside of this circle, you're going to see it's about a half-inch thick. It's the outside ring on this circle. I want you guys to label that the matrix. Remember when we talked about the matrix earlier? We talked about the matrix of your thought forms that create your literal agreement with the universe about what your reality will be. Because you've told the universe to create your life experience based on what you have in your matrix. You got you got all kinds of stuff in your matrix. But what you want to see here is when energy and power is lost through that little hole, it creates a bridge to your matrix, and that issue gets lodged in your matrix. So you can draw a little line from the circle, the little opening, the little hole that you drew in your energetic boundary. Draw a line from there to your matrix. Well, you're going to take the hole in your energetic boundary, the one that's going to end up looking like Swiss cheese, and you just draw a line straight out to the outside lining of your universal circle. That's your matrix. And here's where the good news begins to start. You got little Swiss cheese holes in your energetic boundary. It's leaking power and energy that's locked in your matrix. You just ask the question, well, can we close it up? Yes, we can. When you are triggered, what's triggering you is this issue. That hole that's in your energetic boundary that creates the Swiss cheese look, every single one of those holes in your energetic boundary, think of it as a target, like a bullseye. When you play archery, you know what the target looks like. That's got the 3 circles, and you're looking to hit the center of the circle. Mm-hmm. Every single one of those circles and holes in your energetic boundary becomes a target. It's like a bull's eye on the surface of your energetic boundary. It acts like a magnet, and this is a really good thing. It begins to attract people, events, and circumstances into your life that are going to trigger you, that are going to cause you to emotionally react to something. I mean, it's like a bullseye walking around in the world saying, you know, trigger me, trigger me, trigger me, trigger me, trigger me. And that's a really good thing, because when you're triggered, now you know, remember, now you know when you're triggered that the thing for you to do is to be in present time, to stop, to take a deep breath, to come present, to be with what is, to face that pain, to face that fear, to face whatever it is that you're feeling, because there is no boogeyman in the closet. Breathe, because remember when we were traumatized by that issue originally, we stopped breathing, which actually crystallized and embedded that issue in our matrix. The way to release it is just to breathe. So the simplicity of this and deconstructing it and closing the hole up is when you observe that trigger event, when you observe it, you get to take a deep breath. You get to ask a question, what is my issue? What's really going on here? What's my fear? And breathe in and breathe out and simply release that thought form, because that's what it is that's coming up, right? A thought form. Oh, my God, he doesn't like me anymore. Oh, my God, I'm running out of money. Oh, my God, I'm doing this again. Those are just thought forms that come up, right? On an in-breath and an out-breath, you get to release that to the quantum field. Over time, that closes up that hole in your energetic boundary. Some are going to get closed up immediately. But, you know, those deep core issues, like the ones that I have, you know, around I call them my daddy issues, those take longer time. You know, people talk about when you get triggered, just, you know, be present. Just be present. And there's a lot of validity to that. If you look at the visual that we have here, you know you're triggered, you stop, you breathe, you go into the inquiry, you ask, what is my issue? To me, that's working on the issue. To me, that's actually observing and looking at ways to conquer your fear, to deconstruct the matrix. To simply breathe and stop and be in present time doesn't really support you in collecting all of the power and energy from this matrix and bringing it back into present time with you and closing up this hole. Yeah, it's a process. That's really what I'm saying. It's a process, not necessarily a one-time thing.
So it can just keep happening and happening until that hole's closed.
Exactly.
And every time the more present we are, the more aware we are, and the more we allow whatever those feelings are, we can start to realize that they're lies and go forward.
That's correct. That's correct. That's how come on your worksheet I said that there's steps for TLC and there's a process for TLC. The steps for transformation, liberation, and creation are simple. It's to conquer your fear. It's to overcome fear. It's what we came here to do. I don't mean we came here, oh my God, to trudge through life and conquer our fear. But we did. We thought this would be a fun exercise. We really did. Because once we conquer those fears, then we get on with really playing full out, full tilt boogie, as my friend Jennifer says, and create and play with the resources and the energy that are here to play with. So to overcome our fear, number one. Number two, to work on our issues. And we now have a cute little visual and a very easy way to do that, right? Y'all were supposed to say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, very good. Invest in essence. That's the third step. That means, my goodness, find your essence words. Larry, I don't know if you're on mute or not, but I know you have your essence words. Again, mine are freedom, fun, spiritual community, connection, contribution, and flow. What are your essence words?
Joy, creativity, ease, fun, freedom, and completion.
Completion almost doesn't sound like an essence word.
No, but I've added it this year.
Okay. What does completion bring you?
Really a sense of ease, a sense of clarity.
So overcome fear, work on our issues, invest in essence. And then, number 4, be patient with fruition. I'll say that one again. Be patient with fruition. I'll say it again. Be patient with fruition. Because sometimes it takes energies a while to align. It takes us a while to close up these holes and to align. I'm going to take you through the dimensions of your energy because I'm going to show you why maybe you're not attracting what it is that you want, assuming that you're not, because I'm not saying that you're not.